Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Can you believe we're almost into the new year? So today I will share my recipe for the ultimate Guyanese Old Year's Night cook-up rice. This is a tradition in Guyana that every New Year's Eve we would cook a pot of cook-up rice and we would enjoy it when we get home from church or a party. So to get started, we will start by prepping our meats and peas first. Here I have some fresh beef and salted beef. I have some tripe and chicken foot. I have some red peas and some black eyed peas. I will be using my favorite green seasoning, which I will leave the link to this in my description box. And here I have some garlic powder, onion powder, paprika, some complete seasoning, meat seasoning, chicken bouillon, and some black pepper. First, I will start by soaking my peas. I did went ahead and washed these thoroughly, and I will be soaking them with some hot water. I will cover and set aside until the next day. Next, we will add all of the meats to a large bowl and we will season with all the seasonings that I mentioned. I will leave all these ingredients down in my description box. And I did went ahead and I washed my meats with vinegar and lemon juice. And cook-up rice is usually a very versatile dish that can be used, cooked with a variety of meats or a variety of peas and beans. It can also be done with just vegetables. It can be vegetarian as well. So, you can use any meat of your choice, any peas or beans of your choice. It really doesn't matter. So this is where we will transfer all of the meats to a large Ziploc bag. So now I will place this in my refrigerator overnight and I will see you guys back here tomorrow. So we're on to the next day, and here I have my peas separately in 2 pots with some water. You never want to boil your peas together because they have 2 different textures and you don't want to risk, having one of them hard and one of them soft. That'll be a disaster. So you boil them separately, and when it's done, you strain the water off and you save the water. Do not throw away your peas water. That's where all the nutrients are. So while our peas is boiling, we will go ahead using our pressure cooker and we will start pressuring our meats. We will start by pressuring the tripe first because that's the toughest one. Then we will add some cassareep just to give our meats a little bit of color. And we will add 15 minutes cooking time to each meat. Starting with the tripe, we will pressure that for 15 minutes and then we will add our beef. We will pressure that for 15 minutes. Then lastly, we will add our chicken foot, and that will only have 15 minutes cooking time because that's the least toughest one. And I know what you guys are thinking, that this recipe is long and it's complicated, but it's really not complicated once you get all your meats and your peas soft. Everything else from there is super easy. But the recipe takes time and patience. You cannot rush this process. You have to take your time, or else you'll just end up with a disaster of some of your meats hard and some soft, and some of your peas hard and some soft, and everything, it just wouldn't work. So you have to take your time, and that's why back in Guyana we would usually cook this dish on weekends or a holiday when we have some time to spare. We can be patient with it and stuff like that. So I'll get this started and then I'll show you guys the next step. After cooking the tripe for 15 minutes, we will now add our beef. We will give it a good mix and we will allow this to pressure for about 15 minutes. After cooking the tripe for 30 minutes and the beef for 15 minutes, we will now add our chicken foot. We will cook this for 15 minutes. Then I'll show you guys the next step. And this is how it should be looking once all of your meats are tender. Next, we'll go ahead and blend some coconuts to make some homemade coconut milk. Homemade coconut milk is always best, but if you don't have it, you can use the canned coconut milk. So here are the other half of my ingredients. Here I have some parboiled rice. For COOKUP rice, I usually use parboiled or brown rice. I don't like white rice because I don't like the texture of it. I don't like my COOKUP rice mushy or sappy, and that's the reason I don't use white rice. But if you like to use white rice, go right ahead and use that. Here I have my fresh coconut milk. I have some thyme, okras. I have my basil. This is called marred man pork back in Guyana. I have some green onions, some cilantro. We call it celery back in Guyana. I have my 3 habanero peppers. I have some sweet peppers or bell peppers. I have some onions, garlic, ginger. And for my seasonings, I'll be using some complete seasoning. I have some pimento seeds here or allspice. I have some chicken bouillon, black pepper, seasoned salt, sazon seasoning, brown sugar, and I will be using a little bit of Guyanese cassareep. So now in my preheated Dutch oven with some oil, I will now go in with my onions, garlic, ginger, my peppers, basil, some scallions. I will mix well and I will let these go for about 2 minutes just to release that aroma and the flavors. Next, I will add my peas, then I will add my meats, I will give it a good stir, then I will add my rice. I did wash my rice before I add it. Please make sure you wash your rice. It plays a big role in having, the perfect COOKUP rice without your rice being sappy and mushy and stuff like that. You gotta wash that starch out of the rice. And then I will add my seasonings. I will season up this well. Then I will let it fry for about 7 minutes just so everything could marry and, combine. And then I'll show you guys the next step. So at this point, this has been frying up for about 7 or 8 minutes. And what I'll do next is I will go in with my coconut milk. And remember that broth that I told you guys to save from the peas? I will be adding some of that. And I did save the broth from my meats as well. So I will be adding a combination of both. I don't like to add water to my COOKUP rice. I usually just add pure coconut milk, or I add a combination of coconut milk and the broth from my peas and my meats. And it makes the COOKUP rice super rich and absolutely delicious. And you don't want to add a lot of liquid here. You just want to add a little at a time. You add liquid like an inch above your rice. And if you need more liquid later on, as it evaporates, you will add more. But don't you ever add a lot of liquid at once because it's hard to get rid of it. And you end up with overcooked rice, and it is sappy and mushy, and it is not fun. Then you will add the thyme and the peppers, and I will cover and allow this to simmer on medium heat. So now we'll give this a little check, because as you know, cook-up rice needs to be stirred occasionally because we don't want it sticking to the bottom or anything like that. And now we will add some cassareep to this, just for a little bit of color and bump the flavor up a bit. One thing I hate is a white cook-up rice. So we'll add the cassareep for color, we will cover and allow the rice to continue cooking. So now that the rice is almost done, what we'll do next is add our okras. The okras just needs to steam a little. It don't need a lot of cooking, and that's why we add it towards the end of the dish. We will add the okras and we will, just sink them down a bit so they can steam. And we will cover and allow this to simmer for about 5 more minutes. So this is it for me, guys. The cook-up rice has been completed. I will now go in with some more green onions and my cilantro. And that is it. That is how you make a super delicious cook-up rice. Now, I like my cook-up rice moist, and that's why I am leaving it with a little bit of liquid. As this cools down, the liquid dries up and it evaporates. And if you allow the liquid to dry up completely while it's cooking, you will end up with a super dry cook-up. And I don't like that. So this is it, guys. Okay, guys, so this is my delicious recipe for an authentic Guyanese cook-up rice. I do hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, share it, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I will leave all the ingredients down in the description box, and I will see you guys in my next video. Happy New Year and enjoy!